Okay. All
Thumbs up.
right. Hey, thanks for everyone to join. This is our first webinar from Infomind. We are planning to conduct a monthly webinar, not just about Infomind, just generally about how AI is impacting ERP because we are in that space. So my name is Jero. I'm the founder and CEO of Infomind. I come from a technical background. I've got some domain expertise, but I'm not as expert as maybe some of you, and certainly not as domain expertise as Johan. But I come from a very strong technical background with more than 25 years wearing various hats from dev, architect to head of IT. This is my third startup. Pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to be in this webinar. And thanks for all coming. Feel free to ask questions as we go along in the chat. We will try and answer. One of us will try and answer. If not, at the end, we will have a Q&A session. Johan, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thanks, Jerome. Hi, everyone. Johan Axelsson, and as Jerome mentioned, I'm coming more from the application space, from ERP implementations. Been doing ERP implementations my entire life, and one of the things that we've been discussing and focusing now for the past 3 years, Jerome, is how do we use AI to speed up the process of doing an ERP implementation, and I think this is important, Jerome, to emphasize that we're not just talking about the initial implementation, but really to deliver an AI-driven lifecycle platform that can support the initial implementation, but then also any ongoing continuous improvements, as you will continue to do improvements forever. So excited to be here, and feel free to pop in questions if you have any. But Jerome, why don't you fire away and show us what you got?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Can you all see my screen?
Yep, we do.
Awesome. As Johan highlighted, we are a ERP lifecycle platform. Our mission is to reduce ERP rollout timeline by more than 50% through AI agents, eventually to 80%, 90%. But the immediate target is to reduce it by more than 50%. And I believe we are getting there pretty quickly. If not, we are not already there. We believe we are already there, but we want to prove it more and more, and not with just one or two clients. So we have few clients now. We've got like a lot of partners. We are growing at a really rapid speed. The proof is in the pudding with a lot more implementation, a lot more complex implementation. The format of this webinar would be, we will go through some slides. We won't bore you with a lot of slides, just to set the context, and then we'll give you the actual demo of the product and how it's used by various partners and clients, just like what we promised in our marketing email. So to start with, what we do is we provide the tools. We are not into consultancy. We are not service system implementers. What we do is we develop these agents and give it to our partners and system implementers and consultants who go and implement these across various clients to reduce the ERP timeline. So as you can see from now, the image speaks 1,000 words. So what we do is we give you a power up rather than the old way of doing things. So you can cut down these trees quite faster than ever before. And that's what we are seeing in the market. So what are these agents? So as you can see, and why do you need these agents? So as you can see, from the requirements till the project goes live, there are a lot of manual processes, and it's also relying on the key resources for those manual processes. That itself is it's a bottleneck, because the key resources everyone has only about 24 hours, that the key resources certainly have only that much time. So if everyone is relying on the key resources for a lot of these manual processes, And if we find a way to accelerate it, reduce the dependency on them, but they still be part of the whole process, that's the idea behind it. And a lot of these, came from our ERP experience, like where Johan is a perfect example, where when he is in the project, everything is waiting on him, though he could spend only so much time. So what happens if we turn that around and say, hey, no, people don't have to wait. They can do a lot of things, but end of the day, Johan is the one who kind of approves things because he has got that expertise. And that's exactly what these agents would do. So if you take from the starting, the requirement stage, which takes ages, we all know that, right? So the customers send a lot of documents, the team has to go through those documents. You will have a lot of discovery call with the customer. After the discovery call, take the meeting notes and derive the requirements. And you might even want to analyze the source code, because let's say if you're moving from on-prem solution to cloud, and in the on-prem, the customer has changed a lot of source code. You still have to review the source code and derive the requirements from it. So it does take a lot of time. And then if you take, again, configuration, it's exactly the same. The configuring any ERP takes time. And it does require a lot of expertise. And it does require someone to know each and every configuration. And we all know that the document does serve a purpose, but it's not fully there in pretty much all the ERPs. So it is a struggle. And unless you spend about 20 years on these, you're completely dependent on the experts. Then when it comes to testing, typically how testing is done is it's done manually. So even when you try to automate, it does take a lot of time. First of all, you need to build a huge resource pool. Then they need to have that automation skills. Even when it's automated, there's a huge time and cost in maintaining those automation. And then when it comes to training, imagine I don't know how many of you have that experience. Imagine we are working with a client where they have warehouses in 113 locations. Imagine going and training all those employees in various languages and monitoring them, making sure that they're all up to speed when you go live. It's a huge nightmare. And it's easy to, even if you can get across, it's very, very difficult for them to understand the training, be an expert, practice it, and absolutely be ready when they go live. Not just be ready, or just not just listen to the training materials and not be ready. That's the worst case, because you can go and give the training, but if they're not actually learning, when your ERP goes live, they are not going to be in the right position to operate on those ERP. And finally, support. Support is usually an afterthought. Yes, the team might stay on, but they stay on for for a set period of time. So the knowledge gets lost. So, but usually the problem starts cropping up during a financial year end, or when they try to close the book. That's when all these issues come up. At that time, you may not have those experts. As a result, everything is fresh. So the support, whoever is doing, they're not learning from all of these. So that's exactly what our platform does. So if you see what we have done so far is we have created a requirements agent. So one thing this slide doesn't show is we also have an RFP agent, which we will show you during the demo, that's used by the salespeople during the sales process. But after that, the requirements agent, so you can throw any documents at the requirements agent, from a PowerPoint to images, including Java source code, XML files, anything. So weeks and months of work, it just crunches that in hours in a format that you want. We also have something called custom prompts, so it can generate in a format that you require. We are currently training the configuration agent. It's not available for public view, but the configuration agent with the natural language, you can create requirements and literally you can say, hey, these are all the requirements I've agreed with the customer. Then you click a button and say, hey, can you configure this? Yes, it'll ask you with a lot of questions. You will have a chat with the configuration. Once it's sure, it will go and configure it for you. And also from the requirements, right now, we also have a testing agent. You could, from the requirements, generate test scenarios and tell the agent, hey, go and automate it. It will go and automate. You don't need an automation tester. When we started, our partners, we did recommend them for automation engineers, but the model is getting so powerful now, we say, hey, no, you don't need automation engineers. The agent will take care. If it fails, yes, it does fail. I'll be very honest, because there's still a lot of unknowns in the ERP world. When it fails, we take care of it. But we are so confident that it doesn't fail often. That's why we said, hey, no, you don't worry about automation. So now from the requirements, you can generate test scenarios and automate. What it also gives you the power to say, hey, no, we have so much coverage for these requirements. I will show you that report. That report is tremendous. Like, you can have a report that shows how much of our requirements are actually covered by our testing, or how much we have to catch up. Then from that, you can also literally with few clicks, you can create training videos in about 140 languages. From these test scripts, you can press few buttons and create training videos. If you want, there is also an option to do the other way. Without test scripts, you can also still create training videos. So once we have generated video, one of our customer commented saying that, hey, no, these are all really good video. We can give it to our users. We can monitor how people are getting trained, but we still have to go and train them, because this doesn't replace their practical experience. So what we have now is we have something called driver's license. We put that under training, but it's actually a separate agent. So again, from the testing you have done, literally with click, you can create driver's license agent. What it does is it allows the users to go take assessments based on these training videos. We track what they do on the ERP platform, how they complete certain tasks, say, for an example, create purchase order, and the AI completely monitors what they do in their sandbox, and then give them a report saying that how well they have done, what are all the things they have missed, what are all the gaps, what are all the things they have to learn. I will show that in the demo as well.
Hey, Jerome, can I pop in here? Because I think
Yeah,
everyone's excited to see this. I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, but also that these testing agents, the training agent, the driver's license, they are all system agnostic, right? So it doesn't really matter which ERP system you're using now, if this is Infor, SAP, Oracle, Dynamics, or whatever you guys are using. So a big part of this platform is system agnostic. And then, of course, there are some agents that are system specific. So the configuration, for instance, our configuration agent is being trained per ERP system to support the configuration. But I think it would be, we don't have a form or any for prepared in this webinar, but it'd be really interesting to see which ERPs you guys would be most interested in that you are using today. So if you don't mind, pop in just in the chat window, that's only going to be visible to us to see which ERPs you guys are mainly using today. And it could be multiple, of course, but feel free to just share your ERP of preferences in the chat. Sorry,
great,
John, fire away.
point. No, great point, Johan. Thank you. So, and then finally, the support agent. And the beauty about the support agent is the things you have been doing in all these phases, the amount of data you share is amazing. What we are seeing with our clients is just, so much data shared between these phases, so much information that are useful for someone who's doing the support. And that's what exactly the support agent is planning to do. Again, this is still under training, but when it's available for public use, all the work that you have done on top of all the data it captures, not just from these stages, from your projects, your business, all that, the support agent would be able to answer pretty much any queries. So before I jump onto the demo, just a quick testimonial from one of our customer.
We're expanding and business is really good, but we really need to do more with less. Too many things are still way too manual. I'm so happy to share that we've now completely transformed our first business unit with a new ERP solution and a fully automated warehouse. The project is an unbelievable accomplishment, and we started the implementation of Infor Cloud Suite while dismantling the existing warehouse. We implemented full warehouse automation, Infor WMS, with system integrations, all in 7 months. We've got a great team, and the AI-based project tools from Infomind made it all possible. Thank you.
This is the real topic, and I approve of this message.
Patrick looked at it and said, hey, no, I need to show my face. I look 15 years younger in my AI avatar. So he gave this testimonial. But what you see
Warehouse automation.
in terms of this, it's actual clip from their warehouse when they implemented it. I wish we can take all the credit, but they also had a brilliant team. So together with Infomind, this was one of the fastest implementation. This other success stories. We just saw the fastest cloud suite implementation for MWG in Netherlands. After they went live, they wanted to roll it out in France. They literally went in days because they reused all the assets, including the test scenarios, the automated, the training videos. So when they went to France, all they had to do was convert these training videos from English to French. And because we support about 140 languages, it was a breeze. So they went, training in days, and then they just went live. And then this is also a real success story. Michael is a superstar. So single-handedly, part-time, he developed their entire training content for CCL to train 230 warehouse users. So he put together, 120 videos, about 20 courses, literally in less than 2 months doing part-time. He has a full-time job. He was just doing few hours here and there, but he put together. So tremendous success story. Again, just want to highlight, none of these agents, you don't have to start from requirements. You can plug in these agents at any stages of your project. So we are working with a client where they are in the stage where they just want training. So yeah, they can just take the training agent and start using it. So same with testing, same with requirements, and yeah, other things. And our go-to market is through our partners. We don't try to go to our clients directly. If somebody reaches out to us directly, we try and either partner with one of the partners we have, or any partners the client would prefer, because we believe that the partners and the system implementers would be in a good space to go and roll out our product, because we are not implementers. So we have partnered quite a lot in the Infor space, because that's where we started and that's where Johan's experience is. Now we are moving into QAD NetSuite and hopefully into Dynamics 365.
And Jerome, just highlighting, even though we don't have existing customers on Dynamics today, it has been validated by our partners that the platform works fine on Dynamics as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So when I show this, one thing that you will see fairly across the platform is, you just have to show something to the agent. The agent needs to learn from it. So for an example, what you will see is when I create a test scenario, I will show the agent, hey, this is how the test scenario is supposed to work. The agent understands it, it goes and automates it. And same for training. So you will see that across the platform. So let me go with the demo, unless someone has any question before I jump onto the demo. Johan, do you see any questions popping up? Sorry, you're on mute. You're on mute, Johan.
Yeah, no, we're good. Just fire away.
All right. Okay. So hope you can all see Infomind's day one platform. So as you can see, when you log in, this is our dashboard. It gives you a clear picture of how ready you are for go live. So it tells you the overall readiness with a lot of information. It captures what is the requirement coverage, what is your validation, how stable it is, how many test scenarios you've run, how many users have are ready, they've taken the assessment and they passed it. So, and also any open risk items that you need to be aware of. So it's got a lot of information. So, but it will be pretty blank when you start, obviously, but it will build based on the data that it captures. But first, let me start with the first thing, which is RFX. I'm not sure how many of you are involved with the sales process of RFI and RFP, but this reduces months of work to hours. And we are validated with partners. It's typically used by the partners or the service implementers where they have to answer a lot of RFI and RFP to their clients. So I'm really not sure how many are in now, but I'll still show you the demo. So if you see, all you have to do is just simply upload a file of RFI. So I've got an RFI document, which actually, typically these are sent by the clients to their service implementers, and service implementers complete these. It contains a lot of questions. They need to complete it. It's not straightforward question. They need to liaise with their experts, not just one or two. They might have to liaise with multiple experts depending on which areas. And then they also have to complete this in a specific format. Some clients are very strict about it, so they have to complete this in a specific format. So now with this, all they have to do is just upload it and then say yes. It'll go start reading the RFI, and if typically the RFI document contains how do you want this to be filled in. So if it has that information, it takes it from that and uses that information to complete it. It also gives me a plan of what it is, how it needs to be filled. Then
And Jerome, I think this is an example of where this is, of course, very ERP specific. So in this case, we've been training the agent for a specific ERP to make sure that whatever we're responding now is doing a gap analysis or matching to what this particular ERP is capable of doing. What are the out-of-the-box capabilities? What are the strengths that for this specific ERP?
Yeah. So once it's filled, it gave me a few documents. So if I download one of these documents and then open this, as you can see, if I go here, it completed all this information. These were the question and these were the response. And these are currently being validated by our partners, and they're very happy. In fact, they came back to us and said, this is better than what we usually feel, because this is for the demo, but usually you'll have hundreds and hundreds of rows which they have to go and fill it up. And also, when they fill it up for the next RFP, they completely started from scratch. They forget about what they filled. It could be a completely different person. With this, the agent keeps learning for that particular project, not across the project. That's very important concept. All the data that we share here, if you see, we have multiple projects here. But if I have one, this data doesn't get shared with any other project, let alone the client. Any other project doesn't get shared. So that's very, very important. That's by design for several reasons. One is mainly for security. And also, we don't want to take the data from one project and put that for next project to learn, because if this is wrong data that our partners or the customers are uploading, that will go and corrupt our base model. So we have a base model, AI model, which is we have been training with all the data available, with our domain expertise, Johan's expertise, all that. But we make sure that none of this data that you provide goes and updates this base model or corrupts it. We are very strict about it, and we make sure that the way we feed is completely different from how you give data to the projects.
Data security is super important, of course, Jerome, for when it comes to training the agents, but also anything you see in this presentation now is mock-up data. So if you look at this and say, oh, that looks odd or strange, but it's all mock-up for demonstration purposes.
Yeah. And then once, let's say if RFI Pro is done and you win, the partner wins the client, then you typically go through a discovery phase, which is where you derive the requirements. So if you see that deriving of the requirements, you generally derive requirements from various documents the clients might throw at you, from PowerPoint to their SOPs to their technical documents, images, all of those. So you can pretty much upload anything. In this case, I'm just going to upload PowerPoint, documents, meeting notes, and a PDF. Meeting notes are super important because you will have a lot of discovery meeting, and you can capture those transcripts and just simply upload it here. Once you've uploaded, I'm just going to submit it, but you can prompt it. You can say, what you want to do if you want specific way, but you can just take the default, whatever it does. So if I just hit enter, it will start extracting those requirements, and you will see in minutes, it's extracted these requirements. So either I can review it. It also tells you exactly where these requirements come from. So I also know the source of these requirements. So if you think the agent is getting wrong, you can go and check where it got that information. Maybe the information provided is wrong. So it always points to the source. Then you can accept it or reject it or do whatever you want. You can also do a gap analysis. So if I click on gap analysis, it will go on for your ERP. Right now, the gap analysis has been trained for specific ERPs, but depending on which ERP, we can go and provide that. So it also gives you the format and tells where the gap is. This is super important because it'll take ages and expertise to provide that information. But right now, the agent does it. And it also gives you a certain format, Morse code, all that. From this, I can also create test scenarios now. And that's the beauty about it. Now you have the requirements. You've agreed the requirements with your clients, and you have the traceability of these requirements within the platform. So 6 months down the line, you can tell the client, hey, BR348, we provided, you agreed, it's been approved. That's why it's there. And you can also see what all the requirements being rejected. So you have the complete traceability. Now from these requirements, you can also click here and generate test scenarios. So for demo purpose, I'm just going to say 2 positive and 2 negative scenarios. Create these test scenarios for me. So it's going to go and create these test scenarios. Just going to take a few seconds. So as you can see, some of the scenarios already existing. It exists in the project because I might have generated during my previous demo, but any new scenarios, it will go and create it. So the beauty about this is now with these, from the requirements, I create these test scenarios. As you can see, it created a new scenario, completely new. It also gives me what all the input required, the test data that this test scenario requires, and what is the outcome? What is the definition of done? This is the definition of done it needs. I can add it to my test automation simply, just by clicking it. So just like that, you can create test scenarios. But creating test scenarios is fantastic. But what is even brilliant is now you get a coverage report. You can now create these coverage reports, send it to your clients, your team, to say, hey guys, we have got only 7% requirements coverage. We still don't know there are total 347 requirements. There are 324 requirements without tests. So let's look at all those. And then you can start creating tests for those. Now that tests are created, as a next step, the first thing you want to do is automate it. So if I go to my test automation, go to my scenarios. I'll pick up this scenario because we already prepared this one. So first thing I do is, as I mentioned during the presentation, you need to show what these test scenarios are about. What is that you want to test? You don't need to supply hundreds and hundreds of pages for it. All you have to do is just click this video button and you just start recording what you want. So it uses a Chrome extension. I hope you can still see my screen. All you have to do is start. I'm going to go to Infor in this case. But yeah, this could be any ERP as long as it's browser-based. So I'm just going to go start recording. It captures every information, all the data I enter, my audio, every information possible. So I can go open this, start recording it, and provide details and whatever you want to do for that test scenario. Once I'm done with it, all I have to do is just close it. You can see that the video will get loaded in a few seconds. Yeah, as you can see, the video has got loaded. You can re-review the video. It doesn't have to be a Hollywood production. You can just show this just like how you would show your colleague or even another tester. So once you have done this, confirm. It captures all your data that you have entered. It also comes up with its own outcome. If you're not happy with it, you can just go and change it and enter whatever you want to do. You can also add any attachments. And then once I'm happy with it, confirm, and I can inform my colleagues. In this case, I'll skip it. That's it. So once you're done, what happens now is the agent will pick up that and it'll start automating. For this demo, it already automated, but typically it'll go in the background. You will get a message saying that, hey, I'm automating, please hold on. Once it's automated, you will get a notification, which is what you will get here, or you will get an email. So once it's automated, all you have to do is just go there, go to exactly the same scenario. And then if you see, I've got these scenarios. I can update this data. If I want, I can go back to the scenario. I can add my own data. So if I go to this, it's already automated. If you want, I can show you the automated modules. If someone is interested in the test scripts, it generates. If you see, it generates already generated these test scripts. So these are different test scripts. If you're not familiar with test scripts, it might sound like Greek, but this is what it does in the background. So then if I go to test data, I can just simply clone it and add my test data.
Jerome, when it comes to the scenario, the module and the test script there, I think it's worth highlighting that. I mean, if we look back now 6-9 months, there was a lot of manual updates needed because there was still the agent was making so much mistakes. So could you just briefly elaborate now on the state of the agent right now and what you do to make sure that it improves in being fully automatic?
Yeah, no, great point. Yeah, as Johan said, 6-9 months back when we were working with our partners, we told them, hey, you have this tool, you have a no-code test platform, please go and use it. But you need your automation testers to go and fill all these modules. Yes, the agent will fill some, but you still have to have automation engineers because it doesn't do things fully. Maybe even it doesn't even do 50%. So that when we first partnered with some of our partners, they had a separate automation testing. Now, when we partner with someone, we tell them, you don't need automation engineers. The agent is powerful enough to go and automate it for you. Yes, you do need really good testers, but you don't need automation testing because the agent, however smart it is, it can't go and think like a really good testers of all the scenarios. So we still recommend strong testers, but what we say is that the creation of scripts, which is what we have replaced. So now it's pretty good. It still makes mistake. I'm going to be very honest. But what we are so confident that even if it makes mistake, we will take care of it, we'll fix it, and we'll teach the agent so it keeps improving.
And while you say that now, so Jerome, it's still, of course, important that you do have a test leader that knows what to test. And when we're doing the testing, we need to make sure that we set the system in the proper state to be able to test something. I mean, if you're gonna place a customer order, you want that to process successfully, you need to have available inventory, you need to have a proper customer setup, the item setup, etc. And of course, that can also be automated, but you need to make sure you're running the scripts in the proper order. So it still requires you to do the job of planning the testing, but it's all when it comes to the execution, you click a button and it does it for you.
Exactly. So I can go and change these data quite easily. 5, this is my data. I can also download a template and upload my entire data sets. I can save it. Then all I have to do is come to run, go to the scenario, and then either I can select all and run all of them, or for this purpose, I'm just going to run this. And in a second, you'll see it's opening and it'll start running.
So you just picked one of the data sets, right? You had two different data sets, you picked one of them and hit play.
Yeah. As you can see, it started running, and you can see at the top, it says Chrome is being controlled by the automation test software. So the test software is running as we speak. So we support both. In fact, we support 3 types of tests. One is UI automation. We also support API automation, any type of APIs. You can throw any type of API into it, it will handle it. And the third is your manual test. We still recognize some of the teams want to do manual tests. Some of them, either it would be really difficult to automate because they're relying on a third party, but some of them are just comfortable with manual test. They don't need to track that manual test outside of the platform. So within the platform, it captures all the manual tests, including the evidence, which is crucial for auditing purpose. So in fact, we created the manual test because one of our customer came back and said, hey, Jerome, we are paying so much for this manual test outside of Infomind because we need to do it for auditing purpose, because we want to capture the evidence. So we brought the whole manual testing into the platform. So while this is running, I'll start showing the other thing. But all you'll do is, as you can see, it's just interacting with the website and start entering the information, and it'll just keep going. So while this is running, I will show you the next step, which is now that you've created the test scripts, we understand the process, understand the scenario, how it works. How about now that the agent understands, how about we generate a training video from it? That was our original idea about 2 years back. Now, you see that in action. So if I go to the scenarios, it has all the information. If you think about it, it knows exactly which screen to go, what to click, what data to enter from your environment. It's not generic test scenario. This uses your environment, your data. How about, because now that it knows all this, we now use AI to convert that into a training video. You don't need to go and create something separately. That's what has been the old way of doing it, where someone will go and create the test scenarios and someone else will go and generate the training materials. Now, all you have to do is come back into this. It says, select a voice. We support about 11 voices. So I'm just going to use this voice, default voice. So you see, it just takes a few seconds. And then from the test scripts, it converted that into plain language. It took us a while for us, but now it's pretty good. It's, you don't need to change anything. But if you want to change, because English is very subjective, or pretty much any language is very subjective, the things that I like, you may not like. So you can come and change. When you change, it learns from that for that particular project. So when you do second, third, or fourth scenario, you will see it starts adapting your style of changes. Now that the scripts are generated, I can change it. I can edit the video completely however I want. And then all I have to do is either generate it. Now I'm just going to click next. It put the banner together. And I can upload banner. If you want, you can upload your own banner with your branding. Then click next. I can inform my colleague and submit it for review. Now, one final review I just have to do, or one of your colleagues can come and do one final review. Before I publish, I also want to show some of our customers said, hey, videos are good, but can we still have this old way of like generating the PDFs? So that's what we have done. You can see each screens are printed with explanation of what each screens are. So you still have an option of the PDF if you want. So I'm just going to publish it. So where am I going to publish this? I can inform my colleague before I publish, but we publish this into our own learning management platform. So we have our own learning management platform, which you can give it to your clients, end users. The end users who are completely new to ERP, whom you need to go and train. So I can publish it to our LMS. So that's what I'm going to do now. Published it. And if I come back here, this is the LMS. So it's got a lot of videos, but my published videos is not shown here. So if I refresh it, you will start seeing the published video. This is what I created and published. This is as you can see, this is literally what the process is. Creating training videos takes few clicks. Now I can just go start playing it.
Let's start by walking through the process of creating a quote for a customer with specific payment terms. Begin by signing in to the Infor Cloud Suite portal. Navigate to the Customer Services Representative workspace. Click on Orders to begin creating a customer quote. Click the New Order button to begin, and enter the return date. In this case, we'll type 10th of October, 2025. Click OK to confirm and save the order header details. Click OK again to acknowledge the confirmation message and proceed. Click the Next button to move on to the order lines section. Enter the item number.
So hopefully you've got the gist of it. This is exactly how the training videos are generated. It gives you all the information. And if you see all we have done is taken the test scripts and then you reused it to create the training video. So imagine if you have hundreds and thousands of test scripts, which you require anyway to validate your ERP go live. From that, literally with few clicks, you can generate these videos. And the beauty about that is your test scripts will keep changing. It will take some time to stabilize, right? So you create your test scripts, you run your test scripts, it might pass, but the business might decide to change a configuration or a screen. So you have to go and redo your test scripts. When you redo, all you have to do is just literally with few clicks, regenerate the training videos. So, and that's the beauty about this. So
and Jerome, one of the requirements that we keep hearing from our customers now as they move to cloud versions and cloud suites, where they always would be on the latest version, they keep speeding up their continuous improvement projects. So they always want to be able now to add new capabilities, add new functionality that they haven't been enabled previously. So it's a lot bigger need to do test automation, regression testing, but of course also making sure that the documentation is updated, synchronized, and there's no better way than just to regenerate the documentation, right? Automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Great point. Now that we have this video and we have all the transcripts, we slice and dice it in several ways that's very, very useful for our customers. So some of the examples are, we have this AI search. With the AI search, it's not like a normal search that you go and do. You can do a natural language search, just like your chat GPT. You can just go and type. In this case, I'll just pick one. It not only gives you the steps, so anyone can go and search it. It also starts giving you the video. Imagine now with our support agent, all this will go into the support agent. So any of your end users, they can come and do a natural language search and look at the video and start using it. You can also download these videos and integrate with whichever system that you currently use. If you prefer your own LMS, we are not going to stop it, because at the end of the day, we say you generated the video, it's your asset. you can download as an MP4 and use wherever you want. We are not going to stop you.
And Jerome,
Yes.
another important point here is also if you scroll back up to the top and you see the script of the step-by-step process, anything that shows up here is of course specific for this particular project, whatever has been enabled for this particular customer. So it doesn't mean it's not going to show anything that the ERP possibly could do. It's only going to show you what has been activated for this particular customer, what is already being used.
Yeah. Now that you have these videos, either if you're a service implementer, you can have your own training manager, or your client might have their own training manager. And that's what Michael from CCL did. So once these videos are generated, all Michael did was he just went to the course builder and start putting these courses together, literally with few clicks. Because the videos are available, all he has to do is explain the course, start pulling the videos from the video library and put the courses together. Now the courses are available, you can publish it, and Michael now can go and see how the users are doing. Are they learning? Yes, Jerome, pretty good. Johan, I might have to have a word with him. It's only 2%. So we roll this out. This is fantastic. We got a lot of great feedback. But once they've started using it, they realized, hey, it's never going to replace the practical experience of the user. It's still very theoretical. So when we spoke to one of our customers, they said, Jerome, this is great. They go through the training, but before we go live, we tell them you need to go and practice it. For an example, create purchase order for like 10 times and then show it to me. I will give you a driver's license to work in production. And that's how the name driver's license was born. So it's basically assessments. Again, this is used from the test scripts. Just one recording you have done, all of these are generated. So from the test scripts, you can generate these driver's license literally with few clicks again. So as you can see now, as an end user, I can go and take these assessments. I can watch the training video, how it works. I can follow these steps, and then I can start taking the assessment. When I take the assessment, it'll ask you to log on to the M3 portal. Then it'll ask you to follow these steps. When you do, the AI track every information the end user does, every click, every data they enter, and then provides an assessment like this. I took this assessment. My first attempt, I got only 46%. So if I go and view the details, it showed, hey, this is what you did. Yes, you followed all the steps, but you missed an important step, which is entering the panel sequence field to 1H. You missed that. That's why you got only 46%. And if I go to view step comparison, it also gives you a step-by-step comparison. The AI, we have improved the AI so that even when power users come, they enter the details in a different way. The AI still understands it because it doesn't see what you enter. It just looks at the outcome. So it just identified it and said, it identified the nuances. It said, hey, you entered it in a different way, which is fine. I'm not going to penalize that. But there are other ways to enter. But you completely missed this. This is quite important. And that's why we have been penalized. That's the reason why you got 46%. Now, imagine this, what it would do for someone who's implementing ERP, a project manager, particularly service implementers. Now they can go to their clients and look at the reports like this and say, hey, 6 of your users haven't even started taking any assessment. They're not ready at all. Or they can say 5 users have failed. There are only 2 assessments that have been done, but no one is even taking it. They're not getting ready. So they can work with their customers with these information to see which users in which group they need to talk to. So they can also go and print a report like this to say, hey, who's doing what? And then based on that, they can, talk to the relevant people and get them up to speed. So with this completely changes the training and the go live readiness. Any questions so far? That's all. Pretty much that's it at a high level, but there are a lot more details to this.
And Jerome, the driver's license and the assessments now, it's a game changer. Our partners keep calling this out And partly because you can validate that the users actually know how to use the system, how to navigate the system, but also it's just a way to follow up and go create 20 transactions, go do some goods receipt. And depending on where they are now, this is where the platform kind of comes together, because if you have some team members that what they should practice is to do goods receipt on a purchase order or a distribution order, just but receive goods, of course they need to have transactions to receive against. And when they go to the driver's license and start their assessment, now we can use the test automation to automatically create the transactions that they need so they can carry out their operations if they're halfway down in the process. So everyone can still practice their steps in the process. So it's a dramatic improvement in product quality. So one question, Jerome, was the training videos now, can they be delivered in multiple languages?
Yeah, we support about 140 languages. So if I go back to day one, if you see, once English is the base language, once you published it in English, I can generate in other languages. So I've already have one in French, but yeah, there are about 140 languages. We haven't listed all the languages for this demo, but whichever language you want, pretty much, if you think about 140 languages, it pretty much would support everything. So yes. And CCL, Michael, he has generated this in about 4 languages. In fact, out of 230 users, only 2 of them are from Poland. He said, this is so easy. No, usually I won't bother because they also understand English partially, but he said, might as well go and create these in Polish. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more question here, Jerome. In the LMS now, can you as an admin track the students' progress? I think you showed that, but can you go back and repeat how you can follow up, see how they're doing?
Yeah, so these are the students. I know it's got my name and Johan's name because it's in our demo. But if you see, I have all the students' progress. What is their top score? How many attempts? I'm a bit thick, so it took me 9 attempts. Johan is a bit smarter than me. It took him only 5 attempts to get to 100%. Shruti is brilliant, just 1 attempt, 100%.
What you're looking at now is the driver's license. So this is the follow-up of the assessments of the practical exercises that they did. And then of course you could also view just the videos, right? How many have viewed the videos?
Go and see how Johan has done, what all the different things he has done, and then I can view what he followed in the screen.
And I think this is a fantastic feature as well, because if you have some users that are struggling, you can see the recording of what they did, and of course to see exactly where did they fall off the cliff, or where did something stop, and was it because some data wasn't set up properly? It might not always be that they just don't know what to do, but the system wasn't in the proper state for them to do it. So,
and these
great
are
way to follow
generated with using AI. Nothing is hand touch or nothing is manual. Completely generated using AI. And Johan, this is the first time I'm seeing your progress. You're showing that you're a power user. Everything is different, but yeah, I said, hey, it's different, but it's good. It didn't pick up anything. Fantastic.
If you go back to video library, can you just play a snippet of the second video, which is the same video but in Italian, just to get an idea of what it could look like when it's translated?
Yeah, will do. While I do that, if someone can comment which language they prefer to see the video, I'll see if we can find it. I can play that as well.
In questo video creeremo un preventivo cliente con le condizioni richieste per un preventivo. Prima di elaborare un ordine cliente, impostiamo prima una fonte ordine. Gli ordini possono entrare nel sistema in diversi modi.
Probably good enough. Just wanted to give an idea of what any of these videos now can be generated in any language, and we have a lot of partners, a lot of customers that do global rollouts, and says, well, we need to have the training in Spanish or Portuguese or Chinese and in Polish and wherever you guys are located. So just another good example.
Any other question? If not, I would like to show one more you know.
Yep, 5 minutes.
Some
So
functionality
coming up
which
to the end,
we
Jerome.
recently. Yeah, so let me do that. What I'll do is, if you see requirements, what you might have noticed is this gets generated. If I go back to one of these spaces. So let me go and generate one. Start a new session. Let me upload a requirement. I'll upload meeting notes and it'll generate a requirement. So what you will notice is these requirements are generated in a specific format. If I download this, and this is in this format that we generate in a format, but not necessarily what we have learned is, particularly when we are working with our partners, what we have learned is this, they don't need this format. So what they do is they take this format and then they have another format, which is their standard internal format, or the client wants that in that format, in a particular format. They take it, copy it, and paste it. We didn't like it. Obviously, it's an additional work, and it's, if you see, it's, it's not a work someone would like to do. So that's why we have come up with something called custom prompts. So if I go to switch to a different project, because I don't want to mess up with my demo, let me go to a different project. So,
and while you're doing that, Jerome, just cautious of timing. So just another question that we had. So could this also be used for when you're selling or buying a PLM system? Can you use the same platform and the same agent? And
yes, as long as it's browser based.
yeah.
So if you see, I already prepared a prompt and I'll show you what the prompt is, but I'm going to Columbus user story. I'm going to store this as, so if I, sorry, one second. So which one? Columbus user story. Yeah, that's the one. You go here. I've uploaded a template of the Columbus user story. This is for one of our partner. And if I go and then open that particular template, Columbus user story template. If I open this, so when we spoke to our partner, they want it in this template. I have a README, and then they also have a particular format they want, not in the format we provide. This is what, like when we provided, they had to take it and copy and paste it in this format. So that's why we got custom prompts now. So they can define that prompt and upload the template. Now, if I come to requirements and then upload a document, it's going to take a few more seconds than originally because it's got a lot more columns. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, we can answer them.
I think the main, if we start summarizing, Jerome, now it's a platform now that supports the entire implementation project, but even beyond the project through the entire life cycle of the application. You will always continue to improve the project, your implementation. You will add new modules, new functionality, add new integrations, and it supports both then updating the business requirements, creating new test scenarios, driving providing the test automation, generating training videos, and training the support agent. So whenever there's a question or an issue down the line, it says, well, why did this issue occur? Well, it's because of this. Your configuration setting has been set up like this, and it's some of the data issues that caused this particular issue. So it's a true lifecycle platform.
And yeah, just to recap, from requirements till support is what we plan to do. And as you can imagine, each phase, the agent reduces the time drastically. It doesn't replace the experts. We still need the experts. All it does is it just takes away all the boring work, makes it faster so that you can spend time on the most important ones and then make judgment calls. So it absolutely reduces the go live timeline. And then if I come back here,
Hey, Jerome,
yeah,
one more question. So it says now it was tested on Dynamics, but What's the cost to acquire this system as a partner? How does our partner network look like, and how do you become a partner?
To become a partner, you can reach out to me. You can send an email to Jerome@Infomind-AI. We can also part of this, we will send you the video recording, and we can mention how you can reach out. But if you want, note down my email, Jerome@Infomind-AI, or you can just go to our website and then just go to contact us and reach out to us. So
Perfect.
if you see, it's got completely different format to what I showed you before. And if I download this and then open it, didn't open the right one. 1 second, let me go to the. So if you see, it just downloaded today at 8. See, it just completely filled with their template and with all these data. And that's very, very powerful. It's literally, we launched it last weekend. This completely changes the way the platform gets used, because our customers and partners now can customize however they would like it to be. All right. Any final questions, final thoughts?
I think that's it from the crowd. Pretty good questions. Thank you so much for spending the time with us and asking some really good questions.
Yeah, fantastic. Really, really good webinar. Thanks for all your time. And we will continue to have these webinars. Please follow us. We also have a fantastic blog, which is gaining a lot of momentum. And also please follow us in LinkedIn.
Thanks. Thanks, Jerome.
Cheers, Johan. Thank
More
you.
to come.
Yeah. Bye.
Have a good one, everyone.